Yeah.
It says
Yeah,
update
Patrick,
of
I
patent.
just got here.
Yeah, it's like 19 or 20. That's all new stuff, huh?
Huh?
No,
There's 19 or 20.
No,
because most of it is from the previous directory, bonds for support.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have
he
to
just
compare
moved
them.
them around, put them into a consolidated file folder there.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to mute.
Yeah, there are 6 files from the previous puts and calls about Homestead. About 9 files from the bonds for support, and the one new file, which is an update, a revision of the patent. Patrick, I just named it the same as previous declaration revision 1.
Okay. How many people you got on there now, Tom?
We have 7. 5. I'm sorry, it's 6 because now we have 7. Now we have 7.
I'll give it a few more minutes. Anybody have anything to say? Speak up.
Those are some pretty intense definitions you have up there. And I see you've used most of them in your new document.
Yeah, I put most of the key ones that I was going to use in the document, and then some that I clarified the word definitions, and I'll go over those on the call.
Okay.
In there.
I mean, the difference between birth and birth is very striking. I like that.
Yeah, and I sort of covered that before, but it just never jumped out in what we were doing here in that regards when I was looking at it there before.
Yeah, you sort of use them as synonyms, but that really jumps out what a difference there is.
Yeah. Well, that's the misunderstanding and that's what I've tried to stress all along, is the words are the key thing. Until you know the words, you can't use the words properly, because in a lot of cases the words are going to be used against you.
Which they have been.
Yeah.
That said especially.
And that was the key thing about the whole understanding of the Bible. Until you knew the word, basically you wouldn't understand the Bible. Because it is written in so many metaphors and different things that you had to look at how the word usage was at the different times and the place in the Bible that it was being used. And that's what has messed up so many people's mind in this whole process, is they think they know what the word means, but they never really check it out and check out all the different scenarios that it might be applicable, and then see whether they're really using the right terminology for that word. It doesn't sound like there's too many more people come on.
No, it hasn't been any more. We're still at 7.
Nobody out there got any questions or anything? If you do, go ahead and start asking them.
Okay. Well, I've just finished reading everything here, and it's just soaking in right now. it seems pretty explanatory, but I'm sure as you're going to discuss it, I'll see indications that I missed or implications that I missed. There was one new word.
I took both of those in, basically the certificate of live birth one and my DD 214. Put them as a package. Okay, now for certificate of live birth, I've got a copy of my certificate of live birth. It's on file, certified copy of it. Put that with this 4-page document. Put a copy of the manifest that I did for my B10 when I sent that into the bankruptcy court. For the other items that are utilizing that certificate of live birth as collateral, and then I also put a copy of my Homestead exemption that I put on file back in August 27th, along with that. Okay, Tom posted a copy of that example of the Homestead exemption up into this folder also, because you need to have a Homestead exemption. You might modify it a little more to what the understanding about Homestead exemption is now, but that's what we have to do. We have to come in and claim our homestead, okay, our body as homestead land. And you have to cultivate your land. And how do you cultivate your body of land, your living body? You have to give it knowledge. Feed it with the words and understandings. Then you gain the knowledge out in return. That is cultivating your mind. So you have to have the homestead exemption also when you apply this scenario in. So I've got that attached, and I've got it addressed, I think, pretty much in there. I'm having this, the recorder is supposed to file this with the Bureau of Vital Statistics, which is basically the patent office for the human body of land, and then also to send to your local bankruptcy or district court to inform them that you have claimed your patent. You have now birthed yourself, okay, B-E-R-T-H, okay. You have now anchored or harbored your land, okay. And that's when you harbor or you anchor, you have to drop and you have to attach it back to land or to the nation, where B-I-R-T-H on the certificate of live birth is basically you have separated yourself from your mother, cutting the umbilical cord, okay, and now you are adrift. You're out here on the seas, you're adrift, and you've been abandoned, separated or abandoned, and look up the definition of abandonment in Anderson's dictionary, and you'll see that that's what we've done. We've abandoned, and they've come in and tried to claim that we've abandoned this, so they're going to take control of it. That's what the Bar Association has done. And then, like I said, on Sunday night's call there, they're called miscreant or whatever. Miscreant.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're basically operating under in total violation of the Christianity way of life of being just. They're totally unjust. They're working strictly for a profit for themselves. They're evil persons, if you look up the definition for that. You don't have to call them SOBs or anything like that. We know that they're evil.
malefactors.
Now, whether they know whether they're evil or not, that's another story. They think they know what the hell they're doing, but like most people, they have no earthly idea of what they're doing, really.
That's the same as evil, Patrick, because one of the main definitions of ignorance is evil.
Yeah. Now, I took mine. I got them notarized at the sheriff's office because that doesn't cost you anything. There's always got to be a notary there at the sheriff's office, whether it's the clerk or whether it's one of the deputies or something like that. They have a notary because they've got people incarcerated there, and they have to have a notary on disposal for anybody that's incarcerated there in the sheriff's office. So those are normally free. Most of the recorder's offices, they've started jacking up and started charging for their services. Clerks of the courts, they only deal with court records, and then everybody else out there is charging a fee. So it's 6 of one, half dozen another, however you want to go. Okay? Now, after I got my items notarized, I took them into the county recorder. I sort of went over them with the recorder. She had never seen anything like this before, so she's going to have to get with the county attorney, and he's an officer, and basically if he doesn't comply, he's in breach of office, and he already knows that I've got enough stuff on him. So we'll see what he comes out, his ruling or whatever, and then we'll go from there. But that's what you have to do. You have to sort of push these things through because most people have never done this, never seen it, because nobody has done it. But it's the law. Now, and they have to, when you give them an original filing, they have to place it into the record. It will get there one way or another. If they won't file it, I'll get it back and I'll take it up to the federal district court and have them process it down the line. But no, we've got them. This document is so damn powerful, you don't know how powerful it is, really, until you sit down and read this thing over and over and understand it. And then all the court cases already have substantiated that. Several judges down in several places are starting to turn around and saying, hey, like down in Florida, there's one judge down there that basically, I don't know whether it's Supreme Judge of the state or whatever, but basically he has got a case that he's turning around and ordering the houses be returned to the people. Because of some of these items that I have addressed in there about the mortgages. And the mortgage is just a lien, an equitable lien. They cannot evict you from your house, but you have to get it patented. You have to perfect the patent on your property. And that's one of the oldest laws out there on the books, all the way back to Hammurabi's time. That's what Moses was trying to do, was trying to perfect the patents over the rights that the people had, rather than going along with the Pharaonic, the Bar Association out of Egypt. That's all the Bar Association is basically a dead man's system of laws. And then, like I said, it's on Sunday night there. A lot of people don't even understand about the Constitution. They don't know how to read it. Okay, they read it and they think they know what it says. But, like for senators and congressmen, nobody ever understood that a senator and a congressman cannot run back-to-back terms. They have to sit out one term. They can't be an inhabitant of the state. That means they can't be in office when they're running for another state office. They can't even be the governor of the state and run for senator. They have to be out as a resident in the state, not an inhabitant. So there's a lot of different things that are going on here. And then see, when you look at that from that aspect, how many of these laws have ever been properly passed out here? Have ever had a lawful person in office? Even the night of the 23rd, when they passed the Federal Reserve Act, the ones that voted on it, were they lawful senators to be voting on that passage of that act? No. Most of them were in there more than one term. They were bought off by the bankers. But nobody ever calls them on that vote, that the vote was invalid to begin with, and have the Supreme Court rule upon that.
Dave.
Well, that vote is invalid on 3 counts, not just the fact that they weren't qualified, hadn't been elected properly, but it's unconstitutional for the Congress to give away its power that way, and what you brought up before about things not having the proper enacting clause.
Well, that's beside the point, okay? You have to have a valid person in office to go along with that, first off.
Right.
Okay, that's the key thing, okay? You argue the other stuff, and basically you're going to nullify what you're really trying to do.
Right. You're right. Those other 2 are minor compared to what you just found here about inhabitants.
Yeah. See, they will get around the small stuff, and see, that's what the problem is. Why people mostly lose in court, because they're arguing the trivial stuff when they should be arguing the key thing, and they don't see what the key item is that they're supposed to be debating.
Right.
And then you should never be in there debating with them anyway, because everything out here is by patent, and the patent was granted by the United States of America. Now, in that regards, I've got it identified in there, that in that sense the United States of America was the grantor of the patent. Now they are a co-plaintiff in any action.
Yeah.
And the states cannot override the United States government. And that's what they've been doing all along with these forced intimidation of having a driver's license. Driver's license doesn't come from the United States government. It comes from the state government. The United States government ain't going to infringe upon your rights, but the states will. because you've acted in a capacity as an abandoned vessel out here, and they have claimed that since you haven't come in and claimed that and anchored it, harbored it, perfect patent, your patent, then you are still a ward of the state. And then you're at their mercy. Just like in all the movies there about the children that were in orphanages. Little Orphan Annie. The evil house mother or whatever. Quite a few movies about that out there. Stories and everything. And the state is acting like that evil house mother for the state because we haven't come in and claimed our patent away from them. See, when you read that document, that county attorney is going to have a hard time denying that that is not the right thing to do. If he does, he has just exposed himself to a total breach of office, and also I'll have his whole bond of office in my back pocket before this is all over with.
That's if he rejects it or doesn't validate it or something?
Well, if he doesn't basically have the clerk pass it on through,
yeah,
okay, and he says, no, the clerk doesn't have to do this, then basically he's in violation of his office. He's overstepped his bounds.
Right.
And you have an admiralty under the Bill of Lading Act then, right? Not processing the cargo correctly. You have it. You can go after his bond and admiralty under the Bill of Lading Act because he didn't process the cargo properly. Is that correct?
No, he's in violation of his office, okay, of having that land patent updated and recorded properly.
Okay.
All the county recorders are basically, the land recordings have to start at the county level. And then go up the line and then come back down the line. That's the process. I mean, just follow it through. Think about these things. How did that item go? It came from the hospital. The data went to the county, either to the clerk of the court or to the county recorder. They put it into the land record. And that book is a land record. It's a patent record. But it hasn't been patented yet until it comes back down from the United States government conferring the patent. That certificate of live birth registration number is a patent number. The selective service is a patent number. They're patented account numbers that come from the United States government. That's the only way that this system can work. You have to look at things of how could the system properly function? Because it has to have the collateral there to begin with before they can do their other charges and everything out here. Without the collateral, the patent land sitting there, you can't write bonds. You have to have some substance behind everything. And land is the only thing that gives you substance in this process. Because land is gold, silver, and all that other garbage. It's the minerals. And that's why you have a placer claim also attached to this, to your main body patent. You also have a placer claim patent that you're able to pick up any of the minerals that are within your grasp. That you have a right to. Does everybody have these documents that you got them up there, right, Tom?
Yeah, I got them.
I posted it to you this morning.
Yes, I got it up there around 2 o'clock.
It looks like the top two are the new originals and everything else is a copy.
Actually, only the top one is the new. The other ones have been up there before.
Okay.
The revision 1 document is the new one.
Right.
Yeah. These 2 4-page documents, they're brand new, okay?
Right.
Right.
I did have a certificate of live birth one up there, a 3-page document, I think, before. Well, that was old, so throw that one away.
Okay.
Because it didn't have all the definitions and the write-up quite right, and then there were some mistakes in the court cases that when I transcribed it. I think I've got most of the court cases corrected now.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. I took it over there as just part of the thought process that you went through. But I guess I should remove the first one then.
Yeah. Okay. Open it up for any questions, comments, rebuttals, whatever.
Okay. The only questions I have is in your update of patent, you in the second paragraph, you're titled by patent number, which will be your certificate of live birth number, attached under a serial number. Is that the number that would be recorded at the county recorder's office?
No, that is the number that's on that document that you get from the state or whatever. If there's a red number on it, that's the serial number of that document.
Okay.
So you get 25 copies of your certificate of live birth. Everyone's going to have a different serial number on it.
Yeah, right. Okay. I should have seen that.
Yeah. Now, the DD-214 doesn't have that, okay?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a question about that red serial number on the back. So it got to thinking, and it's like similar to a battery. You got the positive and negative. Positive side is red, negative side is black. So if we think of it in the terms of like a charge, because that's what they're doing, the charge in the instrument, in their circuit, electric courts, then why would they change? Well, I'm trying to figure out what that red number on the back.
Well, it's not always on the back, okay? So don't mislead people by saying that. Mine is on the front.
So is mine.
Okay.
Well, I know in Washington they put them on the back, but yeah,
no.
Well,
Yeah, it all depends on where you're at and how they do it. But basically, it's just like on a Social Security card. You got a red number on the back. Okay, that's just a serial number, a sequence number to prevent counterfeiting in a lot of cases. It can't be used more than once when it is used to close down something.
So if the charge is returned to the ground, then it has to come from the ground to begin with. Then why don't we just track the colors, the black and the red?
Yes, you should be putting it in, and basically the serial number should be the instrument that basically is giving the discharge out on that instrument, okay? It's a one-time issue, like if you're going to go in and you want to purchase something, okay? The bill of lading or whatever we had there, basically, the account number would be the certificate of live birth account number, okay, the patent number. Then the routing number or the discharging number would be that red sequencing number, which I think is also a 9-digit number.
Mine has a letter in the front.
Yeah, 9 digits still, I think.
Yes, 9 characters, right.
But see, that's a one-time issue then, and then that would discharge that amount of value for that instrument.
Well, it sounds like the charge is in the black, and then that's why
the patent is the big mother load, okay? And then you're taking a little charge off of that, and you're going to discharge this amount under that serial number.
Now it's making sense. It's black because it's like oil. And then the red is when you burn the oil. And it comes from the ground. All right. Figured that out.
The positive goes out and sets off the item that needs to be discharged.
No.
And see, I kept trying to use the Social Security routing number as a discharging instrument. No, that's a completely different account. There again, we should be going in and basically taking that red serial number and basically discharging that whole Social Security account with that under that serial number. Which in a lot of cases we would do when we get them to come and we would sign these over. We would discharge them, endorsing them over under that red number. That red usage number. Any other questions?
So you're doing the documents at the county, like you said, that's the first way, and we follow through and do the Attorney General and No. You go to the county. Yeah.
Recorder's office.
Right.
You try and get them in there, okay? If they balk at that and refuse to do it, and they will probably get the county attorney involved to get him to make a ruling, and maybe even the county district court to look at it. And then if it comes back that they're not going to do it, then we will take those and then go up to the federal district court.
Okay.
That is over that county also.
So wait to see if it gets processed.
Right. You don't go in and totally be belligerent with them. You go in and be nice to them. You sort of explain to them what you're doing, and they probably have never seen this before. You keep on an even basis with them. You want them to be your friends. And basically, you're telling them basically that this will benefit you in the long run. I am running this as a sort of like a test case to put this thing into the system because nobody else has done it.
Right.
Patrick, on your update of patent, you have I am blank of the family blank. Now, since I'm married, would I use family, my married name or my maiden name?
It all depends, okay? Have you got a legal name change in the court records, okay, that has been updated against your land patent?
Well, when I got married, it was recorded.
And to the land patent record?
No.
You have to check that, okay? You have to check that. Find out from the county whether your land patent has been updated when you got your married name changed. It's normally going to be operating under your maiden name.
Okay.
And that's probably what it'll still be, is it's still under your maiden name. That's why they always ask for the mother's maiden name on that certificate.
So do I go to the patent office of the county?
You go to the county recorder's office where that certificate of live birth is and see if there's been an update change to what your initial recording, your name recording was.
Okay.
Same thing to anybody that has a name change. Just because it went through the court doesn't necessarily mean that the land patent was ever updated properly. You understand that, people?
Yep.
Yes, I just didn't know our names were patented.
Well, it is. And basically you're of the family, okay? You have to have some reference point in the patent when it's recorded.
Okay.
I mean, you haven't got a number on your ass, I can tell you that right now. I've looked at a lot of asses out there, and basically I haven't seen any numbers on them yet. But everybody operates with a name.
Right.
Right.
And Patrick just explained the process of where it goes from the county to the state to the federal government, and it comes back from the feds as a land patent.
Well, it goes from the county to the district land patent office, okay? And then it goes from the district land patent office out to the main patent office at the government, the United States of America government.
Oh, okay. It doesn't go to
Not
the
the corporate
state.
United States government. The corporate United States government can't give you shit except grief. They're the ones that are deceiving and depriving you of your shit. They're supposed to be acting as trustees out there, but they're not in that capacity doing their trustee position. And they will want to try and keep control of you as much as possible. That's why you have to basically put them into the office. Okay, most of these attorneys and everything that are out there, these bar association, even judges that are out there operating under the United States corporation, they're not officers. They're not fulfilling an office in that capacity. They're only a placeholder. They're just like that second-term senator. They're really not there. They're in violation of the law. But they're given all the dignity and everything as if they were lawful. But they're not. They're not an official. They have to take that bar card hat off, their oath to a foreign god off, and start operating under the real oath of the government, the United States of America, or the state of Iowa, or whatever, in the land government, not the corporate government. And see, they're not in breach of office if they're not holding the office. They're just impersonating the office. So what they're in breach of is breach of trust. But if you get somebody into the official office capacity and then they do not comply, then they are in breach of office, and now they can be removed because they're committing an act of treason.
Because it's a breach of office.
Yes, because of a breach of office. Where in a breach of trust, the only thing you can do is turn around and sue them for their bond that they're holding, their liability bond.
Yeah, you might as well call
and then that will remove them from their position.
Yeah, you could call it a masquerade bond, but it's it's a placeholder bond.
Yeah. Yeah, you could sue all the senators and congressmen that are in there for a second term for breach of trust.
Ought to do that after we get our stuff done. Yeah.
Well, I'd turn around and basically just file them with the Supreme Court and basically put the charge into them that these guys are in violation of the Constitution. And you're coming in as a plaintiff and basically in conjunction with the United States of America, and then that way you'll get half of whatever comes out of the deal.
This is Dave. I noticed that in the statutes it says that the Supreme Court shall have the original jurisdiction and over the inferior courts. And I take that as you could take your case right to Supreme Court and skip the lower rung people.
Or if you're going like after this senators and congressmen. But on this patent, basically, we should try and go through the federal district court first. Okay, then if the federal district court does not comply, then it goes to the circuit court, and what do you have at the circuit court? You have one of the Supreme Court justices right there. The justice over the circuit court is a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah. Well, they boarded up my house a couple of weeks ago, so I went to the St. Charles County state court, and I put in amnesty. My paper is real simple. It says permanent injunction required. I'm a man and I require wrongdoers to return my property immediately. Wrongdoers condemn my home over poor housekeeping and ordered the electric company to shut off my electricity. I pray this honorable court can protect the people's right to enjoy their property. I've included a long laundry list of libels and an affidavit and my allodial land title. And he said, what do you want me to do for you, Dave? And I really screwed up. I said everything.
It's correctable, okay? You didn't screw up. You made a mistake.
Right.
And it's correctable.
Right. I don't learn this from Carl Lentz. He says, you don't want him to do something for you. You require him to do it. And it's his job. And I said, I'm the beneficiary and you're the fiduciary.
You're not the beneficiary. You're the owner, okay?
Okay.
See, you don't want to be the beneficiary. They're the beneficiary of using our assets.
All right.
We were the grantor or the grantee, and the grantee is not the beneficiary.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds more like
the way they have this thing set up, since we have not perfected our patent yet, okay, then they're turning around and trying to claim that we are the beneficiary.
Yeah.
But that's because we're not enforcing them to be the trustee and settle the matter properly.
But I'll tell you one thing, my friend was there and he thought, oh, you're crazy and you're using this admiralty stuff. They quit using that a long time ago. And I said, Dan, it's the highest power there is. And you deal with people man to man. There's no lawyers. It's got to be firsthand testimony. I should have won because my defendant didn't come in and a stupid attorney came in and spoke for him, and I objected to everything he said. But that Ted House judge, he was really nice to me, and he didn't think anything was stupid. I just knew when I was leaving there, and he told me that it's just in your pleading, Dave. You got to have an attorney redo your pleading. To myself, well, I'll be back next week and I'll get this case closed.
Yeah, well, you tell that judge, basically, if I could find an attorney that doesn't have a bar card, that hasn't sworn an oath to a false god, I would have one. But since there's none out here, I can't have an attorney because I can't operate under a false god.
I wish I forgot to turn on my damn tape recorder. I would have loved to play it back to you people. But I'm sure he got the message between the lines because I said in an admiralty court, there's no lawyers. It's all man to man, I didn't call him Your Honor or anything. I just called him Ted.
Yeah.
And my friend's going, oh, man, you're lucky he didn't throw you out for contempt. I said, look, if you get called on contempt, all you do is apologize.
Well, when you look at these documents, okay, there are court cases there about the mortgage, about the property taxes in there. And see, they can't evict you from that property, but you have to also turn around and get your land patent perfected that is your land, that house.
Yeah, these code enforcement people here, they're just ruthless. I mean, I can't believe they do stuff without court orders. One guy is a dictator, and he's like a judge, and he can decide whether you're going to be thrown out of your house the next day. All he's got to do
right,
is
but
call
when you throw these court cases at them, basically they lose all their immunity. That's the that's the thing you need to do. You need to get their immunity taken away from them. Now they're open to be sued in any court.
Yes, sir. I found a court case right here in town, and I'm going to go get that. I'm going to get all the papers from that winning court case tomorrow from the court, and I'm going to just copy it, find the lawyer if I need to. And
well, now be careful about that, okay? Just because somebody else won a court case doesn't necessarily mean that everything they did was right.
Yeah, that's
true.
Okay?
They may have a ring on their finger, and basically the judge may have seen that and basically gave that to that person because they're a ring bearer.
Yeah.
Within their scope of system. Okay?
Yeah.
And see, that's what has deceived a lot of people out here, in that they go and run for, well, this court case won. No, you have to look to the court cases like what is referenced here. These are valid court cases about patents. Okay? And that's what you need to reference is these patent cases in anything that you do.
Yeah. If you guys want to get a good buzz, Google Muckerman versus Arthur Janaski. I filed a civil RICO lawsuit against them, and I got two defendants. They're guilty as hell, and they haven't returned service, so I'm going to proceed accordingly. And they're scared.
Yeah, but in a lot of cases, you need to take that out of the state's jurisdiction and move it right up to the federal jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's what
because
I'm talking about.
The federal is where the real patent laws come into effect.
Yeah, this is a federal case I just spoke of, but the one I talked of previously was just a local one. I just want to take care of my state issues locally as I can.
No, you can't take care of your state issues locally. You never will be able to. You've got to take them to the federal district. The state will eat you up alive.
That makes sense.
That's why all admiralty is heard at the federal level. It's not heard at the state level. State can't hear admiralty.
Yeah, I read somewhere they could, but
can you speak up a little?
Huh?
Can you speak up a little, please?
Speak up a little, please.
Okay. I went through the Benedict on admiralty last night, for about 6 hours, and it looks like it's all federal.
Yeah, it is all federal. It's got to be under the United States of America. That's where admiralty is heard. Not under the United States Corporation court system, but under the United States of America federal district courts and circuit courts and Supreme Court. That's out of the Constitution. And like I said, there is a big difference between maritime and admiralty. They're two different jurisdictions. And you play around the state courts, and they're going to sneak you into maritime every time.
Uh-huh.
I got a question.
You're going to be on the merry-go-round, and you're going to be riding around in a circle. Never getting off.
Yeah, they...
But hey, Pat, regarding that federal court, how do you get in a federal district court without one of their patent charter licenses or whatever, their graven image?
All you do is just go in there and file your paper and pay them the $400. I tried.
Yeah, you come in admiralty. not in civil with the JS-44 form. You're coming in admiralty. You make up your court case document and you say this is being filed in admiralty. In admiralty, there should be no court case filing fee.
Well, how is it that the marshals require photo ID just to get in to even file the paper? I mean, how do
Make up your photo ID. Go down to the sheriff's office and get a set of blue fingerprints. And in a lot of cases, they have the capability to also put a photo of you on a card that don't have your Social Security number or anything on it. Say, I don't have a Social Security number. You can look at my ass. I don't have a number stenciled there.
When I walk into my federal court, they say, welcome.
But yeah, they want to have an ID. So you can make up your own ID and say, here's my picture ID. Now you prove it wrong. Because you are an e-state, a private enterprise state. When you turn 25, you were supposed to be a free man. That means that you had no bound, no controlling person over you. You were supposed to be free. So you make up your own state identification. I've had Tom post mine up there. You just have to stop being afraid of using some of these things. Try them out. See. But stand your ground, but don't argue with them. If they give you too much bullshit, turn around and walk away.
File you rid of there and go back.
Hell, I gave a copy to the U.S. Marshals of my present ID. I said, here, you can keep a copy of this. If you find something wrong with it, let me know. I give them copies of my shit all the time. They always try and give me their codes and everything, and I say, well, that doesn't apply to me. So I really don't want it, but I'll take it just to make you happy.
Don't forget to ask, is there any defect with this instrument? Can you please tell me?
Yeah.
That's one thing you got to remember. Because that will cure the error. Just do what they want.
Well, they're the ones that are in error, okay? Yeah. We only make mistakes. And mistakes can be corrected. Mm-hmm. Errors are going to be punished.
Just remember, we're coming in there to make their day. They're never going to see anything like us.
No, it's about time the people in this country started standing up with a little backbone and started putting the pressure on these people in the right way.
Damn right.
But people got so damn wishy-washy and then wanting a damn frying pan from the damn bankers and everything else, thinking that basically that frying pan is going to last for 100 years. Shit. The last 6 months, you're lucky. Or toaster or whatever.
Toaster will last longer than your mortgage.
The mortgage will last if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Because you loan them the money to begin with. That's why they can't evict you from the house. And I've said all along that mortgage is fully paid for at the end of 3 years. People just don't know how it's paid for. People only knew what to say in court. Now, just like yesterday, I basically ended up in the hospital there for overnight. And basically, guys trying to tell me I got cancer and everything. This Philadelphia cancer or whatever, leukemia or something. And sitting there talking to him, and he said, well, yeah, you can get these drugs, and if you're really hard up, basically the drug companies will pay for them.
give them to you for free. I said, well, I'm sorry to say, but they will not give those to you for free. They will be up there at Des Moines attacking my bankrupt person for the funds big time, because I know how the money system in this country works. Nothing is done on their side for free. And anyway, all the damn drugs are prepaid for anyway. They had to borrow the money from the federal government to create the drugs to start off with. They're just like any other corporation.
Oh.
I take
You're
ADD
going to have a real job.
medication.
You never thought about that on drugs?
I don't know what to do with what you've got in there.
Yeah, all these drug companies are basically, they're just companies too. And every company has to zero their books at the end of the year.
My medication.
So where do they get the money from to start up the next day? They have to borrow from the bank, who borrows from the federal government, or from our assets. Because we're the federal government. We're the treasury of the country. The government isn't the treasury. Well, the government is the treasury, but we, the people, are the real government of the country. So it's our treasury. It's not the senators or not the congressmen or anything like that. It's ours. It's the people's treasury.
It's our full faith and credited back the debt.
Yes, and that's what we have. We got everybody in the country all having this into one pool, so we're all going to help one another. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's where you get the full faith and credit. You're relying upon your neighbor if your amount gets exceeded. So you never really worry about how much you have there. That's what this is what needs to take place. You guys need to start talking more out here. Expanding your mind's eye. When you start doing that, then you start coming up with all these little different things like I try and cover, and I can't cover them all, but I'm covering some of the key ones. Now, after you get these done with your land patent updates, your body land patent and placer claim updates, and you get these filed in, and then you shut down your bankrupt person, you bring on shore, bring the assets home, okay, back to safe harbor, okay, then the first thing you're going to do after this is going to have an updated private will. You don't put this into the county records. This is your private will. But you put it in a place that you're going to have somebody available in case you do go out. So like what I was thinking about yesterday when I was up there in the hospital, that, hey, shit, I'm totally exposed if I was to die right now. I don't have all my proper protections in place. You've got to be thinking 10 steps ahead of these guys.
You can record stuff online, I think, in a place in Washington State.
You got to speak up a little more when you talk.
I think there's a place in Washington State where you can do public recording on the internet.
Yeah, but see, you really want to keep this into the private because this will not be adjudicated by any court of law.
Oh.
You're the state. You're the chief judge of your state. You're the Supreme Court of your state. You're the county, or you're the Attorney General of your state. You're the Secretary of your state. You're the Ambassador of your state. You're the Postmaster of your state. Now, if you're the Postmaster and you put something into the service, and they see the other Postmaster accepts it, they see, hey, and doesn't come back in 3 days, then who's wrong? It's the other guy, not you. And that's what I told the postal inspector last Wednesday. Said, you're sitting on these damn things? How come you didn't come back to me? I'm a postmaster. How come you didn't come back and tell me I needed to put extra funds on here? But you held them. So who's in violation? Me or you? I said, I hate to say it, but you are. The more you understand, the more you will be able to stand up to these people. You don't have to be totally obnoxious about it. You don't have to go in there with a chip on your shoulder, like some of these people go into court cases. You have to go in and find out what the real problem is, and then basically, if they're not going to properly settle it, you move it out of that court to the higher court.
Well, I was using general delivery, but they have some new rule that they're claiming. It only allows them to give you service for 30 days. Then they return all your mail.
That's right, because you can't use general delivery if you are a resident. And you have to be a resident. You have to have a home port, a house anchored. Your patent has to be anchored somewhere. General delivery is floating out there in general space. Never land. Who the hell are you? I don't know. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
So get rid of that general post office garbage.
Yeah, I only did that because they had posted the state address is vacant, which is bullshit.
Yeah, that's because you didn't come in and properly claim that as your resident and your patented property.
Yeah,
that was the problem. You have to claim that property as patented, and then you have to update and perfect your patent.
I was reading about the land patents stuff.
Yes, read those handbooks that I had Tom post up there.
I can easily get my BLM land patent for $20.
Yes.
Get a certified copy and get that recorded as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if you have a house or something like that, that has to go through the Bureau of Land Management. Okay? You normally also notify the county recorder as property. That's a patented property. Also in the county. And then you also need to get your homestead exemption in place, exempting that home or that property, that patented property, from any taxes. Another state cannot tax another state. the state of Iowa can't go over and tax Illinois. And tax is nothing but an attack. You're attacking somebody when you tax somebody.
I didn't know what might be good and what might not be good, so it's still cool.
You got to speak up a little. Speak up a little, please. Ma'am? Hello?
Yes, I was not muted.
Speak up, please.
I was not muted. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, you're speaking very soft. Okay.
You speak too softly. Use some force. Come on, people. Show that you're alive.
I think she meant
you got a
muted.
voice. Throw it out there.
I think she meant to be muted, Patrick, and wasn't actually speaking to us.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You were given a gift. Now, go watch Pure Country, The Gift. Pure Country 2, The Gift. About the voice. You're given the gift of voice. Utilize it. You have to speak with authority, with understanding and knowledge. You can't wishy-wash your volume. Turn it down so that nobody else can hear you and think that they're hearing you. You want to make sure they hear you. Because that's the only way you're going to get your point across, really, is when they hear you. Because if they don't hear you, your point ain't going nowhere. Okay, any other questions?
Looks like not, Patrick.
Oh, yeah. Hello?
Okay. Go ahead, Drew. Well, then Drew muted himself. So I guess there are no more questions, Patrick, unless someone wants to speak up.
Hold.
What's going on?
I hit a hold button here. I didn't realize that.
Is Patrick still there?
Okay, Tom. Okay, we're going to take care of this problem right now. Put your hands in your pockets.
Okay.
You're letting your fingers do the walking, and you're not supposed to be walking here now.
Oh, the mouse did it.
This is my mouse acting crazy. It's almost out of control.
And I'll put the mouse in the trap then.
Okay.
Give the mouse some cheese.
Okay.
No wonder you never feed it.
Yes, Drew, you had a question?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, all right. I'm on this United States District Court website. It says 100% ID check. To enter the courthouse, all visitors must show a photo ID issued by a government agency, such as a driver's license or a bar identification card. So when did the bar identification card become considered an acceptable photo ID issued by a government agency just to get into district court?
When they started putting this under their commercial court system, okay? That website is not the government website. That is a commercial false government website. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Well, I comprehend that. It's amazing how the illusion.
I mean, the banks are the same way. They want a driver's license. That's why I can't deal with them anymore, because I don't have a driver's license. I did turn around and go and get an ID card just for shits and grins, so I had something to turn around and surrender to them. But, hell, I haven't had a driver's license for over 2 years. I haven't had a license on my vehicle for well over 2 years. I'm just waiting for him to try. I pulled right in the sheriff's office last week, and about the last 2 or 3, 4 times that I've gone in there. License plate on the back of the pickup says U.S. U.S. elector. That's it. On the front windshield, I've got not for hire. I got my VIN number covered up, and they can't basically go into that vehicle without my permission, because that's like entering your house. They have to have a valid search warrant to enter that vehicle once you close the door. And half their warrants or search warrants or whatever, or arrest warrants, they're all fraudulent anyway. That nobody ever understood how they were fraudulent. And I've tried to address that in some of the past discussions. But like I said, you can go in, and I've done this about 3 or 4 times into the sheriff's office at different points in time and got a blue set of fingerprints. One when I took my commodity broker's test. I had to have a set of fingerprints on file. One time when I was in nuclear power service, I had to have a set of fingerprints. So I went to the sheriff's office and got a set of fingerprints to be sent up to the FBI or whoever to basically check out my background to be able to work in nuclear power. I went in there and got my latest one in the private. No Social Security number or anything like that on it. Said, I don't have a Social Security number. My bankrupt does, but I don't. And my bankrupt don't have fingerprints. I do. Does that driver's license have fingerprints on it? No. That driver's license is for a bankrupt. When you go into the courthouse, you have to clearly identify that you're not entering as the bankrupt. You're entering as a Christian man, because this was supposed to be a Christian country, because this Constitution and everything was founded upon the Bible, which they call Christianity. Okay?
Well, you'd think that the only thing you'd need is the Bible in this country.
You have to have... Don't argue with it, okay? Just go down to the sheriff's office and try and get a blue set of fingerprints. My county does it for nothing. They all should be doing it for nothing.
It also has your height and weight and color of hair and eyes and everything, right?
Right, and basically they can put out, like the machine had the capability. It took my fingerprints, put all that stuff, but then it also had the capability. It had a camera attached to it, and said, well, do you want to have a photo and an ID card to go along with this? I said, yeah, go ahead. So I let them take my photo, put that on there, and then they got an ID card, and it has had certain select fingerprints, not the whole set of fingerprints on there. And that's all you need. All you need is your right and left index finger, your boundary markers. See, that is a plot map, a survey map. Or your patented land. I could have put that in there with my document too.
Well, unfortunately, I disagree with you on that point there, Patrick.
On which one?
On the making a graven image of yourself of anything of any likeness and put it on a card, because it's going back to the scripture, that second commandment, thou shalt not make any graven image or anything of any likeness found in the heavens above, in the earth beneath, or the waters under the earth. So
you're misreading what you're saying there, okay? You're misreading it.
Well, who's got the proper translation? Because I have yet to find one that...
that is a picture of you. That's not a graven image, okay? That is like taking a picture of your farm, okay?
Well,
that's all it is.
Yeah, we ought to have our name in the Bible, perhaps a thumbprint.
No, not to be numbered. The Bible says not to be numbered. It does not say about your name. You have to have a name. Bible thumpers had better beware that you better know what you're really talking about, okay? When you start thumping the Bible, you better thump it in the right way. And I've tried to explain this. When you're doing that, you better think twice before you say something.
What else is a graven image?
A graven image is like putting a statue of Jesus Christ out here who is dead and gone, okay? The guy was just a human being, but yet there are people out here worshiping that graven image. That's what that is all talking about. Placing someone that is dead and gone, like Julius Caesar, like Abraham Lincoln in Washington, D.C. That's a graven image. The Washington Monument.
How about an eagle at the top of a flagpole?
The eagle is basically a symbol, okay? And that is the symbol of the people here in this country. And I've used that one numerous times. In the seal, the great seal of the country, and also the seal in the Justice Department. I said, you know who that seal is? To the bankruptcy court? They had the Justice Department seal there. I said, that is me. And I am standing over you. That shut them up. It's just a symbol. It's not a graven image. But the graven images are like Julius Caesar, like all these trust and everything of all these people. And see, even the Greek Orthodox, they turned around and they wouldn't make graven images in a life scenario form, but they still use pictures. So they were still missing the point in the whole process. We could argue this subject all day long if you want to, but basically it's not going to accomplish anything tonight. That's not what this is all about. So, any other questions on topic?
Why, actually, yeah, I did. I got a certified copy of a land patent, and a couple things. One of them had somebody back in the 1800s actually wrote E dash, or actually just in E in front of the United States. And so when you brought that up for a state, I mean, who would have thought that somebody back in the 1800s on the original application, or not the application, but the original patent, they actually wrote E in front of the S. So it says United States of America.
Because it was an enterprise estate. An enterprise state. An estate is an enterprise state, a private enterprise state. And see, that's what out here everything is supposed to be, is there's supposed to be 300 million estates. And then you have the local district state government, okay, for your section of land that you're located within. But everything in this country was supposed to be E-states or enterprise states. See, those people knew what the hell is going on. It's us that don't know how to read what they're trying to tell us. Then as an enterprise state, you have state rights along with personal or private rights. You have the right of commerce. You have the right of intercourse between one state to another. You have the right to travel all the way across the nation between any of the enterprise states or governmental states. And they cannot infringe upon that state right. But see, people go in and argue that is a private right when it's really a state right. Follow me?
Yes.
Well, makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, it's scary.
Actually, yeah. What's also interesting, too, about the land patent was that there's no borders on it. It's like open land. They didn't put it in a box or anything. They didn't put up a fence. And it's like
no, they have boundary markers. Those boundary markers are perfectly labeled. And you go out here today and you can find some of those boundary markers still in place today if they haven't dug them up. Normally they were in the fence row. The fences came later.
Wow.
And see, that's what you have. You have boundary markers. When you were first born, your boundary markers were identified by your footprints. As you grew older, your fingers got a little more enlarged, and then when you put your fingers out, stretch your arms out and put your pointer finger out, that's your right and left index fingers, that is your boundary marker to encompass your whole body. When you draw the circle around from those points, you will encompass your whole body. That's what your right and left index fingers are all about. They're your boundary pointers. I know I've talked about that about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. See, all this stuff is coming to a head right now of everything that I've talked about in the past.
Yep.
Okay, any other topics, subjects, whatever? Okay, call it a night, Tom.
Okay. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay.
We'll go over these carefully. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.